with, of course, the voice of an angel. Let me do that again.
Sorry. Hang on, let me just do this.
Hello everybody, this is Johan Bester from Charisma Performing Arts. Welcome to another video where today I'll be taking a look at a very special young singer. His name is Cormac THOMPSON and he's from the UK. I've recently discovered that there's this competition in the UK called Chorister of the Year. And it is for your typical cathedral choir, boys choir type chorister. Boys, sopranos, unchanged voices, trebles, right? And it's very interesting. They've got judges and they've got to sing a variety of repertoire. Very interesting. So I'm going to check that out a little bit more. But that's how I came across this young lad. Now, maybe when you see Cormac in this video and you haven't seen him before, you could be, like me, mistaken for thinking that he's maybe 9 or 10 years old. Because he's just got a very tiny frame. He's really a tiny young lad, and with this angelic, treble voice coming out of his face. It's very interesting. I've read up about it a lot in my life and heard and seen many people talk about it. The boy soprano voice. What is it that makes it so absolutely unique and special? And I don't think anybody has come up with a satisfactory answer, and neither do I have one. There's just something very special about a boy soprano, an unchanged boy's voice, especially between the ages of like 10 and 14. Oftentimes these boys enter, puberty. Let me try that again. Oftentimes these boys enter puberty a little bit later, and so they can keep singing in this unchanged voice until they are easily 13, often 14, sometimes even 15. And then when their legs and their arms and everything start growing at a hectic pace, which is what happens during adolescence, in case you haven't noticed, then also the vocal folds grow at a hectic pace, and then that voice changes. And then that whole chapter of boy soprano, that angelic, ethereal, I don't know how to describe that sound. I don't know if you know what I mean. Maybe you've not really listened to these kinds of voices much in your life, but you'll hear it. But then that chapter is just over. So what often happens with boys like this is when people around them, maybe their parents, maybe an agent, maybe just like a competition or something, when people around them realize that there's something really special here in this particular boy and his voice, then they really go for it for about 3 or 4 years and record songs and make videos and get the best out of that very small bracket of time where this boy has the ability to sing in this voice. Really something very, very special. And also if you get a girl in the same age bracket with a phenomenal voice, singing the same repertoire or in the same pitch range, it just isn't the same. It's beautiful. You could recognize it as world class and super gifted or whatever, but it's not the same as a boy soprano, and I don't know why. But anyway, let's share this. Now, I just want to say, if you want to keep watching analysis videos like this done by me, then you might soon have to become a patron. I'm launching my Patreon page soon because I just have too many videos blocked by YouTube algorithms. Picks up a few seconds of a song, and if that song has copyright on it, as most do, then the video just gets blocked, and I'm just so over it, the frustrations. So please consider becoming a patron. I will share that information with you soon so that you can keep watching this kind of content with me on a platform where it is far less likely to be blocked. So, back to Cormac here. So in this video, he sings a song called Empty Chairs at Empty Tables from the music Les Misérables, all right? If you know the musical and you know the song, you might, like me, go, what? How's a 12-year-old boy singing a song that is sung by a character who's just lost his friends in a war, in a revolution? it's very important to me, and you might have heard me say this in other videos on my channel. It's very important when a singer chooses what to sing, that they sing something that is appropriate for them. They must understand it. They must be able to relate to it. They must have some frame of reference. So for me, this is one of my favorite songs to sing when I perform. It's a real baritone song, actually. And as a 50-year-old male, I can understand something. I've gone through losses. So I can understand something of what the character in the story of Les Mis goes through, which this boy can't. But then, very interesting, they repurposed the songs or put it in a different context by how they made the video around it so that it is more relatable to young Thompson. So I'm very keen to share this with you if you haven't seen it. Even if you have, I think you'll enjoy watching it again. But let's have a look at this beautiful video that they produced only a few months ago.
There's a grief that can't be spoken. There's a pain goes on and on. Empty chairs at empty tables. Now my friends are dead and gone.
I don't like to stop when something is so beautiful, but I want you to notice something. Air is energy in sound, right? In sound that we produce with our vocal folds. Air is energy. Breath is energy. So even when somebody sings softly, but the flow of air is very evident, then there's energy in the sound, which is exactly what we hear here from Cormac. This is lowish for him. It's in the lower part of his range, and he sings gently, but there's flow. You can hear the flow on the longer notes. The air travels. It's like that vowel. Spoken. That vowel. It's moving. It feels like it's moving. Excuse me. So the air is flowing. You can hear that on the vowel. And what I always go on about is the consonants, right? You can hear it in the end consonants. Every N that he has sung in those few lines. Spoken. So the air flows through the N, and after the N, you can hear that the air stops flowing after it. So he does this absolutely exceptionally well. And I want you to listen out for that in the rest of the song. The flow through the long notes, the vowels, and the flow through the end consonants. Actually, all these consonants are very beautifully energized by the flow of breath. Just beautiful.
Here they talked of revolution. Here it was they lit the flame. Here they sang about tomorrow, and tomorrow never came.
Oh my gosh. All right. For a 12-year-old treble with such a light voice, to sing that low A, tomorrow never came. The A below middle C for that voice type, very difficult. Very unnatural, actually, to sing. So that just shows his natural gift is overwhelmingly powerful and amazing. And he's got skill. He's been trained. So in the song, it goes from that low A to a high G later on in the song, which is just extraordinary. And even in that low A, you could hear came. He sang them. Beautiful.
From the table in the corner, they could see a world reborn, and they rose with voices ringing, and I can hear them now, the very words that they had sung. They came the last communion.
Oh my word. To cover almost 2 octaves for any singer in one sound, that is a sign of developed skill, not just raw talent. So from that low A of came to became their last communion, all in the same sound. The action, in other words, of his muscles are the same, low and high. Incredible. Of course, the sound changes in the sense that the frequency changes, right? When you sing a high G, your vocal folds are stretched and they are tight and they are thin and they vibrate very fast, right? Like maybe on a, I don't know the science, but on a high G, it's maybe about, I don't know, 800 hertz or something, which is like 800 oscillations of the vocal folds per second. So that sound resonates differently, and because of that frequency, to the low A, which is, whatever, 200 hertz. So the sound changes because of how it resonates, but his placement of his vowels from the low to the high and anything in between is just incredibly consistent and fantastic.
Oh, my friends, forgive me that I live and you are gone. There's a grief that can't be spoken. There's a pain goes on and on. Phantom faces at the window. Phantom shadows on the floor. Empty chairs at empty tables where my friends will meet no more. Oh, my friends, don't ask me what your sacrifice was for. Empty chairs at empty tables where my friends will sing no more.
I don't know if that did the same for you as it did for me. And I really want to encourage you, I'll put a link in the description to go and check this out again. Go and listen with headphones or on good speakers or something. Don't just listen on your phone speakers or whatever. Also think it's well recorded and produced. There's a lot of reverb on it, but it's okay. It gives you that sort of cathedral vibes. I would have liked it from a production point of view, a little bit drier than that. But just to go and listen on the best thing in your house in terms of sound quality. And it is just, it overwhelms me, a gift like that. It just is so profoundly beautiful. He sings, when he sings lower, which is quite natural and normal for his age and his voice type. When he sings quite low, it's a bit breathy. Did you notice? So the vocal folds don't connect 100% because it's hard for the vocal folds to connect 100% tightly when they are very short and very floppy. So he ends on a C sharp, which is not that low, but that A earlier, but even the C sharp, because he sings it softly, it's a little bit breathy. And so technically that could have been sung a little bit better, in my opinion, but it is so emotive, and his control over the flow, because it's a bit breathy, he runs out of breath sooner, right? If you made a connected sound, friends will sing more So if it was a connected sound like I just tried to make, then he would have been able to get further. He would have been able to hold the note for longer. But even though it was breathy and not as long, it was still flowing so beautifully and soft and just so emotive. I think it's just brilliant. And I think if you want to check out this young boy, Cormac Thompson, you will find that in the coming months and years, there will probably be a lot of stuff of him coming out on social media. And I won't be surprised. And I would be delighted, because I think it's just beautiful to hear somebody sing. And his innocence. So part of this, what's it called? Chorister of the Year competition, of course, is they do little packages, right? So where they film them at their home. He lives in the countryside, a very simple life, you know, with animals and riding his bike and just his whole innocence and his very sincere modesty is so beautiful. So I hope it stays that way, because he could actually become a little bit famous for this kind of singer that he is in this phase of his life. But I look forward to seeing more of him. I hope you enjoyed spending the time with me. Thank you for doing that. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you soon for some more beautiful content like this. Take care.